So South Africa's latest manufacturing and factory numbers that you have seen have given you some sense of whether the country is emerging from the coronavirus pandemic lockdown. But what does it all mean for the country's mining industry, which is a major part of its economy? That's what we're chatting to with Peter Major, who is the Director of Mining in South Africa. Peter is joining us this evening from Johannesburg. Thank you very much, Major Peter, from Emergence Corporate Solutions. It's good to see you.
Hey, it's very good to see you, Boson, and always good to hear you.
It's good to see you as well. How's it all going at Emergence Corporate Solutions? What are the folks in the mining industry talking about right this evening, Peter?
Well, they're all talking about how can we take advantage of these high metal prices? How can we take advantage of this voracious demand from China that just doesn't relent? It just keeps going. China's now taking way more than 50% of world metal production, from iron ore to the base metals. It's getting close there on the precious metals. Not yet, but yeah, we can't take advantage of it fast enough, Boson. Our infrastructure does not allow us to increase our iron ore. It barely allows us to put out more chrome and manganese than we're putting out. And in a way, we have to thank heavens for the illegal miners, because they're now generating about a third of our chrome production, and they seem to manage to get it out. But we have constrictions on our ports. Transnet's not so constricted as before, but this mining industry was pummeled, and our infrastructure has been pummeled for 20 years, and we're unable to take full advantage of it. But what the government's taken away, the Lord has provided with great demand and great commodity prices.
So gold has rallied. We've seen silver, we've seen copper, aluminum, platinum, and some of the other base metals as well, as you were just listing them. So is it the new economic recovery plan of President Ramaphosa and a new midterm budget? Is there anything in those two documents for the mining sector, Peter?
To be honest, Boson, we don't see very much in there that's really good for mining. It's almost like it's a bit vague. Even the budget was vague, and the economic recovery plan, I hate to be negative about it, but we've kind of heard it a few times a year for a decade now. And they've kind of left mining to fend for itself, which it can do. But unfortunately, our mining minister seems to think he has to get too involved, and he wants to control all aspects of mining. And if you can't even manage a few things, you sure can't manage a lot. Mining is complex, and to try and control it through all these regulations, it just leads to stoppages all over the place and negative sentiment. And unfortunately, too much of the DMR and the regulations are looking historically instead of looking forward. And if you got to look forward, we're in a Grand Prix race here, and we can't look at the rearview mirror. We got to look forward, and we just see cars passing us left and right. We keep looking at that rearview mirror. But thank heavens, at least the government's not putting on more constraints. They realize they need mining to help grow. But yeah, they wouldn't need to do very much if they could just relax and rescind some of the very negative legislation. It would allow mining to grow even somewhat.
So in terms of using the shield, the windshield to drive rather than the rear view mirrors, as you rightly put it, because it won't take too long before you get a crash somehow looking permanently in the rear view mirror. So you need to use the windshield. That's why it's so loud.
You don't see the curves.
Yeah, you don't see the curves. So South Africa's historically mining economy. So why is this very difficult? If you can't create jobs, you can't get new investments into this sector. This legislation, is it so much difficult to repeal, to change, or to overwrite and put up a new one?
Boson, you should be down here. We could really use you. It is so easy to repeal. It is so easy to say, I made a mistake. I'm going to take this off the board. And, we saw Zambia do that 20 years ago. We saw the DRC. We had new regimes there, and they looked at this policy that had killed their mining for the last 20, 30 years. And they told the whole world, we're throwing all this legislation out. Just come into the country. We're starting from scratch. Zero-based budgeting. Just come in. We might even give you a tax holiday. We will give you a tax holiday. And we saw tens of billions of dollars go into both those countries in the new millennium. Whereas South Africa, we saw more of that leave than come in, because here we were loading up on policies, legislations, charters, and all that is designed to scare foreigners, to chase them away. As you said, it would be so easy to rescind what foreigners didn't like the most. Ask the foreign investors, what can we take away that will bring your money in? What can we add? They don't need to add anything. They just need to subtract things. And they will create jobs. They will get foreign investment.
So I'm looking at your neighbors, as you just talked about, Tanzania, Zambia, and others. And do you think the way these countries are going, they're going to take some of your lunch away in South Africa, mining sector?
No, they won't. And this is something very important we need to realize. If those countries do good, it only helps South Africa. South Africa never produced very much copper. We weren't endowed with a lot. Those are copper giants north of us. And gold, well, a lot of those countries have gold. Gold is a very unique metal. It doesn't matter how much you produce, you can't lower the price. So it would be in our benefit if they developed good mining industries, because the infrastructure would help. We could feed them, we could exchange material. We produce a lot here that they don't produce. But unfortunately, if it's negative up there, it does have some effect here, because people say if you're surrounded by negativity, it will eventually affect you. But no, they would never draw away from us by doing good. People suggested, a lot of the gold investment you used to have has gone there. Well, yeah, that's true, but it wasn't sucked up there. It was driven out of here. That investment would have stayed here and would have brought in friends. It would have brought in brothers, sisters, and relatives. So those countries, the better they do, the more positive it could be for this country. But unfortunately, they've even the good policies they had. They've now driven away a lot of investment. It's not good.
So perhaps there has to be a bit of a mining cooperation, as it were, between giants such as yourself in South Africa, the Congo, where you have the rich copper, Tanzania, and Zambia, and perhaps we just form an enclave there that could just be a win-win situation for everyone. Perhaps that's just the way to go.
It is. The railways, the electricity, we would all benefit by sharing railways, electricity.
I agree with you.
It's insane.
I agree with you. If you look at the Inga Dam, the Inga 3 Dam in Congo, for example, could be a whole lot useful to South Africa if this could just get up and running. Thank you so much. Let's leave it there for today. Peter Major from Mergence Corporate Solutions. Thank you so much. Have a great evening. We'll continue this conversation some other time. We know you're very passionate about it. Thank you so much.